Naomi Brooks had 23 years behind her and no idea what was ahead. 6:10 a.m. same every morning. The abandoned bus terminal squatted at the edge of downtown like a forgotten promise. Demolition signs warned people to stay away. Nobody listened. The homeless came at night. Drug dealers worked the shadows. Naomi just walked through it on her way to the dialysis clinic. She was black, invisible to most people who mattered, working 2 jobs that barely counted as one. Night security at a warehouse that stored nothing valuable. Day shifts at the clinic where old people came to have their blood cleaned because their kidneys had given up. Sleep was something other people did. Her stomach hurt all the time now. Not sick, just empty. She'd learned to ignore it. The eviction notice sat in her purse. She'd read it 11 times, maybe 12. The creases were starting to tear. 30 days to pay 3 months' rent or get out. She had 4 days left and $200 to her name. That morning she'd grabbed food from the clinic break room. A sandwich someone left. Turkey and cheese. It would go bad by tomorrow. That's when she saw him. White man, late 60s maybe, sitting against the concrete wall like he owned it. Military posture, straight spine, eyes that tracked everything. His coat was zipped to his chin even though summer was burning the city alive. His throat had a scar, thick, angry, like someone tried to open him up and quit halfway. Naomi should have kept walking. She stopped instead. "You hungry?" He looked at her, really looked, not the way men usually did. This was assessment, calculation. "You offering?" His voice was gravel. She held out the sandwich. He took it, unwrapped it slowly, ate half, wrapped the rest back up and set it on the ground beside him. "Save it for later," he said. Naomi nodded and left. The next morning he was there again, same spot, same posture. She brought coffee this time, black, hot, in a thermos from the clinic. He took it without a word. The third morning she knew something was wrong. He wasn't just sitting there. He was watching every person who walked by, every car that slowed down. His eyes moved like a machine, efficient, never wasted. "Name's Caleb," he said when she handed him a bagel. "That's all you need." "I didn't ask." "Most people do." She left before he could say more. But she came back, every morning, coffee, food, whatever she could grab. "You don't have to," Caleb said one day. "I know." "So why?" Naomi shrugged. "Same reason you're out here, I guess, nowhere else to go." That wasn't completely true. She had an apartment for now, but it felt like the truth. Caleb studied her. "You're in trouble." "I'm fine." "That's a lie, and lies get people killed." Naomi laughed, dramatic much. He didn't laugh back. Weeks passed, then months. The routine became automatic. Wake up at 5:30, grab food, walk through the terminal, hand Caleb breakfast, go to work, come home, sleep 3 hours, work security, repeat. Her landlord started calling, then texting, then showing up at her door. "You got my money." "Next week." "You said that last week." "I know." By month 3, the red notice appeared. Final warning in letters that seemed to scream. Naomi brought Caleb breakfast anyway. "You're getting thinner," he said. "I'm fine." "Stop lying to me." "Stop asking then." He went quiet, ate his food, drank his coffee. "You should stop coming," he said finally. "Why?" "Because this doesn't end well." "What doesn't?" He didn't answer. That afternoon, her supervisor pulled her aside at the clinic. "You smell like the street, Naomi." Heat flushed her face. "Excuse me." "I'm serious. Get it together or don't come back." Naomi bit her tongue, nodded, walked away before she said something she'd regret. That night she ate half a granola bar for dinner. The next morning she gave Caleb her entire breakfast. He noticed. "When's the last time you ate?" Yesterday. A full meal. She couldn't remember. This stops now, Caleb said. You don't get to decide that. I'm not taking your food anymore. Then I'll throw it away. They stared at each other, two stubborn people who'd learned that giving up meant dying. Caleb blinked first. You're going to regret this, he said quietly. Probably. By month 5, Naomi was skipping meals entirely. Her jeans hung loose. Her uniforms didn't fit right. People stopped making eye contact with her. She felt herself disappearing. One night she left the clinic late, walked to her car. A black SUV sat across the street. No plates. 2 men inside. They didn't move, just watched. Naomi's hands shook as she unlocked her door. She drove home, checking her mirrors every 30 seconds. The SUV didn't follow. But she knew they'd been there for her. The next morning, Caleb didn't touch his food. He slid the sandwich back across the concrete. Stop coming, he said. We've had this conversation. I'm serious, they've noticed. Her blood went cold. Who? Caleb's eyes were harder than she'd ever seen them. The kind of people who erase problems, he said, and you're becoming one. Naomi didn't stop. She told herself Caleb was paranoid, old, maybe mentally ill. The SUV was a coincidence. The men were probably lost. She was good at lying to herself. 6 months of practice. 2 days later, her landlord changed the locks. She came home from the clinic to find her key wouldn't turn. A new deadbolt gleamed on her door. Through the window she could see her stuff, her bed, her clothes, her life. She called him. You can't do this, it's illegal. Sue me, he said and hung up. Naomi sat in the hallway for 20 minutes. Then she went to her car. It was a 2008 Honda with a broken passenger window covered in plastic. The back seat was cramped. The smell was worse. She slept there. Sort of. Mostly she stared at the ceiling and listened to her stomach growl. At 5:30 a.m. she drove to the terminal. Caleb stood when he saw her. Actually stood. In 6 months, she'd never seen him stand. You shouldn't be here anymore, he said. His voice had urgency now, sharp edges. I'm not leaving you, Naomi snapped. She was tired, hungry, angry at everything. I don't abandon people. Something shifted in his face. Recognition maybe, or regret. He reached into his coat. Pulled out an envelope. Thick, heavy, sealed with layers of tape like he didn't trust a single strip. If something happens, Caleb said slowly, take this to the address inside. Not the police, not the news, just them. What is it? Proof and a problem. Proof of what? He pressed it into her hands. His fingers were rough, calloused. Promise me, he said. Caleb. Promise me, Naomi. She'd never heard him use her name before. I promise. He nodded, sat back down, ate the food she'd brought without another word. That was the last time she saw him. That afternoon, the terminal was empty. No blanket against the wall, no bag, no coffee thermos, nothing. Naomi searched. She walked every corner of the terminal, checked the bathrooms, the old ticket booths, the loading docks. Nothing. She went to hospitals. I'm looking for someone. Caleb, late 60s, scar on his throat. No one by that name. She tried shelters. White guy, military type. No, haven't seen him. She went to the police. The officer looked bored. When did you last see him? This morning. It's only been a few hours. Something's wrong. Ma'am, homeless people move around. It's what they do. He's not homeless. The officer raised an eyebrow. He lives somewhere. No, but... Then he's homeless. File a missing persons report if he's gone 72 hours. Naomi left. She went back to the terminal every morning, Waited, watched. Caleb never came. On the third day, a security guard approached her. Young guy, nervous. "You need to stop asking about him," he said quietly. "About who?" "The man you've been looking for. Drop it." "Why?" He glanced around, leaned closer. "You're on a list now. I don't know what you did, but you need to walk away." "What list?" He was already leaving. Naomi's hands were shaking. She went home, to her car, sat in the driver's seat with the envelope on her lap. She should open it. She didn't. That night she couldn't sleep. Every sound made her jump. Every pair of headlights that passed felt like a threat. At 5:42 a.m. someone pounded on her car window. No, not pounded. Authority. 3 men stood outside, dress uniforms, perfect creases, ribbons and medals that meant something. Naomi's heart stopped. She rolled down the window. "Miss Brooks," the oldest one said, silver hair, colonel insignia, voice like concrete, "step out of the vehicle, please." "Why?" "Step out of the vehicle." She did. The 3 men formed a wall, one with the silver hair, one younger with ribbons on his chest she didn't recognize, one who never blinked. The colonel looked at her like she was an insect. "We're here because you fed a man who was never supposed to be found." Naomi's knees went weak. "Where is he?" she whispered. The colonel's expression didn't change. "That depends on what you do next." "I don't understand." "You have something that belongs to us." "The envelope." Her hand moved to her pocket, stopped. "I don't know what you're talking about." The man who never blinked stepped forward. "Miss Brooks," the colonel said calmly, "we can do this the easy way or the hard way, but either way you're going to give us what Caleb gave you." "Who are you?" "The people who clean up mistakes, and Caleb was a very old mistake." "Is he alive?" Silence. "Is he alive?" The colonel tilted his head. "Give us the envelope and you can go back to your life. Keep it and you won't have a life to go back to." Naomi's mind raced. The envelope was in her jacket, inside the car, 5 feet away. "I need to think," she said. "No," the colonel replied, "you need to decide." The man who never blinked moved his hand to his hip. Naomi saw the gun. Everything Caleb said came rushing back. The kind of people who erase problems. She was the problem now. "Okay," she said, "it's in my car." The colonel nodded. Naomi moved slowly, opened the door, reached for her jacket. And ran. Naomi ran. Not thinking, just moving. Her legs burned. Her lungs screamed. The parking lot was empty except for scattered cars and broken streetlights. Behind her, footsteps. Heavy, fast, military boots on asphalt. She cut between 2 buildings, jumped a chain-link fence. Her jacket caught, ripped. She kept going. The envelope pressed against her ribs. She didn't know where she was running, just away. A voice shouted behind her, "Stop." She didn't. Another voice, closer, "Brooks, we will shoot." Her heart hammered. She turned a corner, saw a subway entrance, stairs going down into darkness. Naomi took them 3 at a time. The station was nearly empty. One homeless man asleep on a bench, a teenager with headphones, a woman in scrubs. Naomi slowed to a walk, tried to breathe normal, tried to look like she belonged. The train pulled in. She got on. Sat in the back, watched the platform through the window. The 3 men appeared at the top of the stairs. The colonel scanned the platform. The one who never blinked pointed at the train. The doors started to close. The younger officer ran. Naomi pressed herself against the seat. The doors shut, the train moved. Through the window she saw him stop, punch the air, pull out a phone. Then the tunnel swallowed everything. Naomi's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She got off at the next stop, transferred twice, ended up in a neighborhood she didn't recognize. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Miss Brooks, the colonel's voice, calm like they were having coffee. That was stupid. She hung up. It rang again. She turned it off, pulled the battery out, threw it in a trash can. Now what? She found a 24-hour diner, sat in the back booth, ordered coffee she couldn't afford. The envelope sat on the table between her and the wall. She opened it. Inside were papers, copies, documents with official seals, names she didn't recognize, dates going back 40 years, photos of men in uniform, some young, some old, all serious. And a letter, handwritten, to whoever finds this. My name is Caleb Stone, former Sergeant, Special Operations. What follows is proof of crimes committed by people who were never supposed to answer for them. In 1983, our unit was sent to Nicaragua. We weren't supposed to be there. The mission wasn't on any books. What we did wasn't war, it was murder. Civilians, entire villages. We were told they were insurgents. They weren't. They were farmers, teachers, children. I didn't stop it, I participated. 17 years I've carried this. 17 years I've tried to come forward. Every attempt was buried. Every witness disappeared. Every document was destroyed. Except these. I kept copies. Insurance, I thought, but insurance only works if you're alive to use it. They found me 6 months ago. I knew I was living on borrowed time. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. Take these documents to the address below. It's a journalist, independent, can't be bought, she'll know what to do. Don't trust the police. Don't trust the military. Don't trust anyone in uniform. And I'm sorry for whatever this costs you. You didn't deserve to be part of this. Caleb. At the bottom was an address, Brooklyn, an apartment number. Naomi read it 3 times. Her hands were still shaking. This was insane. This wasn't her fight. She was just trying to survive, just trying to keep her head above water. She could walk away, burn the envelope, disappear. Except they already knew who she was, already had her name, her address, everything. Walking away wouldn't save her. The waitress refilled her coffee. You okay, honey? Naomi nodded. She wasn't okay. She looked at the documents again. Photos of villages, lists of names, dates, locations. Evidence of something terrible. And Caleb trusted her with it. Why? Because she fed him breakfast, because she showed up, because she didn't abandon him. I don't abandon people, she'd said. Caleb had looked at her differently after that, like he recognized something. Naomi finished her coffee, left money on the table, walked out. She needed to get to Brooklyn. The address was in Red Hook, 40-minute subway ride if nothing went wrong. Everything could go wrong. She bought a burner phone from a corner store, used the last of her cash, called the number on Caleb's letter. It rang 4 times. Hello, a woman's voice, older, tired. Is this Rebecca Martinez? Pause, who's asking? My name is Naomi Brooks. I have something for you, from Caleb Stone. Silence. Then is he alive? I don't know. More silence. Where are you? The woman asked. Manhattan. Can you get to Red Hook? Yes. Come to my apartment. Don't tell anyone. Don't use your real phone. Don't take a direct route. Okay. And Miss Brooks, if you're being followed, don't come. Lose them first or don't come at all. The line went dead. Naomi took 3 different trains, walked 6 blocks in the wrong direction, doubled back, waited in a bodega for 20 minutes watching the street. Nobody followed her. She hoped. The apartment building was old brick, 4 stories, Fire escape zigzagging down the front. Naomi buzzed apartment 3C. The door clicked open. She climbed stairs that smelled like old cooking and mildew. Her legs ached. Her stomach was empty. She couldn't remember the last time she'd slept. The door to 3C opened before she could knock. Rebecca Martinez was 60, maybe 65. Gray hair pulled back, sharp eyes behind wire-frame glasses. She looked Naomi up and down. "You look like hell," she said. "Thanks. Come in." The apartment was small, books everywhere, newspapers stacked in corners, a desk covered in files, and a laptop that looked older than Naomi. Rebecca closed the door, locked it, put on the chain. "Show me," she said. Naomi handed her the envelope. Rebecca opened it carefully, pulled out the documents. Her face went pale. "Jesus Christ," she whispered. She spread the papers on her desk, read them, cross-referenced dates, checked photos against names. Naomi stood there, waiting. Finally, Rebecca looked up. "Do you know what this is?" "Evidence of war crimes." "It's more than that. This is a cover-up that goes to the top. Senators, generals, people who are still in power." She tapped one of the photos. "This man is currently Secretary of Defense." Naomi's stomach dropped. "Caleb was one of them," Rebecca continued. "Part of the unit. He went underground 17 years ago, tried to blow the whistle. Every attempt failed. They erased him from official records, made him disappear." "Why didn't they kill him?" "They tried. That scar on his throat. That wasn't an accident. He survived. Went into hiding. Lived on the streets where nobody looks. Until I found him." Rebecca nodded. "Until you found him and fed him and made him visible again." Naomi sat down. Her legs wouldn't hold her anymore. "They're going to kill me," she said quietly. Rebecca didn't argue. "Maybe," she said, "or maybe we publish this first." "What good does that do? I'm still dead." "Maybe, but so is their cover-up, and sometimes that matters more." Naomi looked at her. "You think I should die for this?" "I think you're already dead if we don't move fast. They know who you are. They know you have the documents. The only way you survive is if this goes public before they can silence you. And if it doesn't work." Rebecca met her eyes. "Then at least you made it count." Rebecca worked through the night. She scanned every document, verified sources, cross-referenced names with public records, built a timeline that stretched from 1983 to now. Naomi sat on the couch and watched. "Why are you doing this?" she asked at one point. Rebecca didn't look up from her laptop. "Because I'm a journalist. This is what I do." "You could get killed." "I'm 63. I've been doing this work for 40 years. If I'm going to die, might as well be for something that matters." She kept typing. By 4 a.m. she had a story. 1,500 words, names, dates, locations, photos, everything. "I have contacts at 3 major publications," Rebecca said. "We send it to all of them simultaneously. They can't suppress all 3. "When?" "Now." Naomi's chest tightened. Once this went out, there was no taking it back. "Wait," she said. Rebecca paused, finger over the keyboard. "What about Caleb? We don't even know if he's alive." "He's not." "You don't know that." "Yes, I do. Men like that don't disappear quietly. If they took him, he's already gone." Naomi's eyes burned. She'd known deep down, but hearing it made it real. "He saved my life," she said quietly. "By giving me this envelope, he made me matter." Rebecca looked at her for a long moment. "Then make it matter. Help me send this." Naomi nodded. Rebecca hit send. The emails went out to 3 journalists, 3 different cities, 3 different publications. Then they waited. Morning came, then afternoon. Rebecca's phone started ringing. Martinez, this is David Chen from the Post. I got your email. We need to talk. Rebecca put him on speaker. Talk, she said. This is real. You can verify all of this. Every word. We're running it front page tomorrow morning. 2 hours later, the Times called. Then The Guardian. All three were publishing. By evening, the story was online. Naomi watched. The headlines spread across the internet. Massacre COVID up for 40 years. Secret war crimes exposed. Defense Secretary implicated in atrocities. The documents were everywhere. Photos, names, evidence that couldn't be denied. Rebecca's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Naomi's burner phone rang once. Unknown number. She answered. Miss Brooks, the colonel. His voice was different now, tight, angry. You've made a serious mistake. I don't think so. You think going public protects you. It doesn't. We'll still find you. Maybe, but now everyone's watching. You can't erase me without everyone knowing. Silence. Caleb was a traitor, the colonel said. He betrayed his country. He told the truth. There's a difference. The truth gets people killed. So do lies, Naomi said. He lived with yours for 17 years. That's what killed him. She hung up. 3 days later, the Secretary of Defense resigned. 4 congressional investigations were opened. Protests spread across the country. The story wouldn't die. Naomi stayed with Rebecca. They moved twice, changed locations, stayed off social media. But the threats kept coming, anonymous, vague, constant. You need to disappear for a while, Rebecca said one morning. I have contacts, people who can help. Where would I go? Somewhere they won't look. Small town, new name, new life. For how long? Rebecca shrugged. Until it's safe or until it's not. Naomi thought about Caleb. 17 years in hiding. 17 years looking over his shoulder. That was no life. What if I don't run? She asked. Then you take your chances. Hope the attention is enough to keep you alive. Hope they decide you're not worth the risk. You think it is. I think you're the woman who brought down a 40-year cover-up. That makes you either a hero or a problem. Depends who's asking. Naomi looked out the window. The city stretched in every direction. Millions of people, millions of lives. She'd been invisible her whole life. Now she mattered. It had cost her everything. Her apartment, her job, her safety, maybe her life. But it mattered. I'm not running, she said. Rebecca nodded. Then we do this the other way. What's that? We make you too visible to touch. Interviews, testimony, congressional hearings. You become the face of this story. You become someone they can't disappear without everyone noticing. That doesn't sound safe. It's not, but neither is hiding. Naomi thought about Caleb, how he'd lived in the shadows because the light was too dangerous, how he'd trusted her with the one thing that could bring him peace. Truth. Okay, she said, let's do it. 2 weeks later, Naomi testified before Congress. She told them about Caleb, about 6 months of breakfast, about an envelope that changed everything. The cameras were everywhere. Her face was on every news channel. She became a symbol, the woman who wouldn't back down, the woman who did the right thing when it cost her everything. But symbols don't sleep well. She moved constantly, changed hotels, hired security she couldn't afford. The threats continued. Someday she wondered if Caleb had the right idea. Disappear, live small, stay invisible. But she couldn't go back. She'd crossed a line Caleb never could. She'd survived long enough to tell the story. 6 months after the story broke, 3 more members of the original unit came forward. They corroborated everything, added details, named names. The cover-up collapsed completely. Trials were scheduled, Indictments were filed, careers ended, and Caleb's body was found in an unmarked grave outside Arlington. They buried him with full military honors. Naomi spoke at the funeral. He was just a man who made terrible mistakes and spent 17 years trying to fix them. He could have stayed hidden, could have kept his secrets, but he chose truth, even when it cost him everything. She paused. He taught me that some things matter more than safety, more than comfort, more than survival. She looked at the crowd, reporters, veterans, politicians who'd condemned the cover-up. He taught me that doing the right thing isn't about whether you win or lose. It's about whether you can live with yourself after. They lowered him into the ground. Naomi stayed until everyone left. Then she sat by his grave and ate a sandwich. Turkey and cheese. Like the first morning. You were right, she said to the headstone. This didn't end well. The wind picked up. But it mattered. She finished the sandwich, left half of it on his grave. For later. Then she walked away. Still looking over her shoulder. Still waiting for the next threat. Still alive. And that was enough. This is why good people hesitate to help. Doing the right thing shouldn't be this dangerous, but it is. Would you stop or keep going? Tell me what you would have done. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Thank you for watching.